Chaps, ready when you are. Fraser, you're going to kick off and then we'll use the hands up system if that's okay.
Yeah, can do. Hi, Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, got you, Fraser.
Obviously, not the result you were looking for, but was it a better performance from you tonight? The kind of performance you have been looking for of late?
Yeah, more of both. I think we've had more possession today, but so in one way I'm okay with that, but in the other way, possession don't win games of football. And if you concede from a set piece, especially against Burnley, so that's disappointing. I thought the start theirs was a better start than ours. I think Aaron's made a couple of decent saves in the first 10 minutes, and then off the back of that, we get a foothold in the game. But yeah, again, just that final third quality that we need to find, cutting edge to unlock an outstanding goalkeeper, an excellent back four, and a very organised side. And we didn't find that in the first half, the second bit of the first half, and the whole of the second half. A lot of possession, a lot of the ball, but nothing to really hurt them to open them up.
Was it a bit of a sickener of a goal to concede?
Yeah, I thought we sort of started, as I said, on the back foot, and they started better than us. And then we were okay. So, we were heading into half time, obviously on level terms, but they found a brilliant cross from Robbie Brady, and obviously I think it was Chris Wood's got in and the back stick, and Aaron's made a really good save, and then for the resulting corner, another great ball in, and a really disappointing goal from our point of view. And then they did enough to win the game of football second half. That's a sign of experience. Sat in, and that's why they've got the result. I'd love us to get a goal in front and have that problem to have, but they did enough to win a game of football. And as I said, for all the possession that we had, we never really hurt them or opened them up.
But will you be able to take some positivity from the performance into the next game, would you say?
I mean, we have to, in terms of the way we played. I was critical against Everton, and that's Everton. But they found the one big moment. We were better with the ball. We were braver. We moved the ball around. We got into the positions where we wanted to get into, where every team wants to get into, where Burnley wants to get into, where Sheffield United, it's all relevant, and we did. We got into those positions, but we didn't find that bit, that cutting edge, that bit of magic, that bit of quality that gets us back in the game. We had a belief that we could get something here tonight, and a determination too in terms of the manner of the performance. But the thing that decided the game against Everton and decided what 11 out of 14 games that we've played so far this season, the odd goal is that bit of magic, going back to a corner against Villa, a great ball by Jack Harrison and a brilliant header by Patrick Bamford that seals a tight game at Bramall Lane, and Jamie Vardy going through. So we could sit all night and just say all those tight moments where they found, and all those big moments where they found the big moment and we haven't, and yet again tonight is the same.
Just finally from me, Chris, obviously we heard the news not long before the game that a number of your personnel have been affected by COVID-19. I'm sure your thoughts are with them, but is that going to affect you and your preparation going forward now, do you think?
Yeah, it will do, yeah. But it's going to affect quite a lot of teams, I think. I think this is the start of something. I don't think we're going to be the first ones to be hit by it. I think there's 5 or 6 of the backroom staff have been hit by it, and obviously some players as well. So, yeah, it's a little bit different to last year, a perfect storm last year for us, Fraser. A lot of things went for us, big moments, clear of injuries. It seems to be the opposite this year, but we have to crack on, dust ourselves down and go again, and prepare for the next game at Crystal Palace. And there's no excuses. They weren't available, and we had enough out there to get a result, and unfortunately we didn't.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Cheers.
Shieldsy.
Was it 2 players that Chris tested positive, or?
Yeah, there was a number of players, James. So Yeah, and then one had to go for a test this morning as well because he had some signs of an illness as well, and been tested, but was fortunately the test came back negative.
Is it something that you think, just before I get onto the game just quickly, but it's going to affect football more now than possibly it did last time?
All the numbers are saying so, aren't they? So I know the
Yeah.
Premier League will do the best, and we'll do our best as a football club to keep going. You know, nobody's looking for an exit. Nobody's looking for the season to be canned. You know, and that's quite an easy one to chuck at us now that we might be, but we're not. We're in a position because we haven't done enough from a football point of view. But I think all the numbers are suggesting it's you know, a peak or it's getting worse, and so I think that it will get affected, and teams will be affected. It's taking its toll on the EFL, and but I know the Premier League are doing the best, and we are as a football club, and the individual clubs in the Premier League are doing the best now with testing twice a week to get ourselves out there playing, and that's what I want to do. I want to get out there playing, and I want the team to get out there playing.
Was that one of the reasons why Lees? Because I know you said he was a little bit behind where you wanted him to be, but that you had to actually put him out on the pitch, or was that?
Yeah, I wanted to play three centre forwards tonight, James. You know, I wanted to be positive in our approach, and we wanted to do that. We felt that was the right decision. But obviously, Leeds had you know, barely half a game in him, if not a little bit more, and Ollie Burke didn't have, you know, wasn't fit enough to start, and possibly had 20 minutes in him. I think if everybody was fit, then he wouldn't have even been on the bench. But yeah, again, scenario of putting himself out there and trying to help the team.
And in terms of that little bit of magic, how it's the $1 million question. I understand that, but how do you find
about
that?
30 million in it, and about 70 or 80 grand a week.
You've just answered it. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish. There you go.
I shouldn't laugh, but no, you're right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, mate. Try.
Nath.
Hello, mate.
Hey, mate.
After that defeat, where do you go from here now, Chris? Because obviously all the signs are pointing one way, but you have to maintain that belief that run can come.
It's competition. It's football. It's sport. You know, it's a season. We have to go right to the end, and we will do, regardless of our position or points tally, or whenever something happens or it doesn't happen. We go right to the end. On the flip side of it, we went right to the end when we got promoted with 4 games to go, and went right to the end and got 100 points because we had an obligation for every game to leave everything out there for our supporters first and foremost, and they have an obligation to keep going, and they have done tonight. You've seen the body language, you know, that's not fake, that's not false. They're having a right go. You know, we've pushed a side or a decent side, an experienced side in this league. You know, my disappointing thing is you go 1-0 down against Burnley, and it's tough. They're good, they're organised, they're experienced. We're a little bit naive with the players out on that pitch as well, a little bit. Some of them. But you go right to the end because that's what it's about. That's what sport's about. You don't just I'm having a bad round after 11 holes, and what I'll do is I'll just walk in. You know, you've got to go for it, and see it out, and we're going to see it out regardless. And we're going to go tomorrow, recover, and then get ready for another game at the weekend, and keep going. Players and myself keep going. There's no other way that you can approach it.
Box to box tonight, Chris. I actually thought you were, you know, as good as you've been for a while with the way that you control possession, but something that we've spoken about a lot this season, it's just that final third, and that must be the real frustrating thing for you, that you have that amount of possession but you can't turn it into anything.
Definitely. You know, we get into some great positions. I agree with you. That's the most that we've had. The old one, second half, I'm looking to my left more than I'm looking to my right, and they did what they had to do, so I'm not being critical of that. They defended very, very well, filled holes, plugged holes, and made it difficult for us. But we kept trying. We just didn't have that bit. there's a book of it, isn't there? There's a book right the way through from from the first 2 minutes of the game against Wolves to the Villa game, where they find that bit. Where Jack Harrison finds a brilliant cross in the 89th minute, and Patrick Bamford comes in with a fabulous header at the back stick and decides a game. So it's right the way through 11 out of 14 games have been decided by one goal. So they found it and we haven't. And yeah, I do get the box to box, and I do get the possession bit, because I am a believer that if you have more possession, more the ball, you're going to create more. But when we get into the positions that we get into to hurt teams, we don't hurt teams, and yet again, both boxes has cost us tonight in a tight game.
Obviously, you've spoken then about the fine margins of so many games being by one goal. While on one hand you try and look at the positives of that, it must probably make it even harder to take that you have been on the wrong end of so many of those.
I think you take it up. It's hard to take when you lose games of football, especially you lose the amount of games that we've lost this season. It isn't easy. It isn't easy to manage in the Premier League. It isn't easy to play in the Premier League, as showing now. That's why I've got enormous amount of respect for Sean. That, yeah, obviously they did after their first year came down and came bouncing back, but to year in year out staying it with the resources that he's got. And the team and the way the team battle for him, which I think my team are battling for me. It's a tough gig at this level, and it's tight. Whether you get beat 4-0 or you get beat 1-0, it's still a defeat, and it's not easy to take, and it doesn't make it harder. But if it's tight, and it doesn't make it easier if it's tight. It's a defeat, and that's where we're at.
Thanks, Chris. All
Cheers,
the best.
mate.
Finally, Mike McGrath.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Mike.
Hi. Just quickly, did you ask for the game to be called off this afternoon?
No, the Premier League know about all positive tests. They know straight away, and we had a situation with staff, so they know. They know we possibly had a situation this morning where one of the players had to go and get tested because he was showing signs and he was in contact with obviously 2 or 3 of the players. So that would have wiped the team out really, but it wasn't. So, but obviously, look, we've lost a couple of players, and I think 2 or 3 players that we've lost, and we've lost half a dozen staff as well. So obviously, it's been very good previously. I don't think it's any of the fault of the process that our football club has been going through. We've been very, very on it, very stringent with what we've had to do. But I think sometimes it comes over the top, and there's not a lot we really can do about it.